The Archon Prophecy expansion for Age of Wonders 4 introduces several new gameplay systems, mechanics, and content designed to deepen strategic complexity and enhance thematic customization. This DLC is structured around integrating long-term narrative progression with mechanical incentives, enabling players to build empires that are mechanically distinct and narratively coherent. Its additions center on three primary pillars: the prophecy system, the new architect culture, and expanded options for empire customization through new forms, mounts, units, and tools. At the center of the expansion is the new vision system, which introduces a unique class of societal traits known as prophetic visions. Unlike standard traits that offer immediate gameplay bonuses, these visions provide no early benefit. Instead, they define long-term goals for the player's empire and unlock significant faction-wide bonuses upon completion. The system operates through quest-like objectives, tied to the empire's affinity alignment and gameplay behavior. This design shifts early game focus away from raw optimization and toward narrative goal setting, encouraging deliberate play over longer horizons. Three core visions are introduced: Promise, Destiny, and Ruin. Each is associated with different affinity combinations and playstyles. Promise relates to order, nature, and materium, and focuses on securing a promised land through city building and defensive infrastructure. Destiny supports a devotion to a specific affinity and encourages empire alignment through conquest, diplomacy, and magical development, leading to bonuses such as new unit types and increased resistance or morale. Ruin is aligned with chaos, astral, and shadow affinities, and activates through actions that destabilize the world, including mass destruction, magical upheaval, or undeath. Completion of these visions not only grants powerful mechanical advantages, but can also trigger game-altering events such as global map changes or faction transformations. Complementing the vision system is the new architect culture. Architect civilizations are structured around the construction of powerful province improvements known as monuments. These are not standard infrastructure buildings, but are developed in 4 distinct phases: Foundation, Sanctum, Zenith, and Apex, each requiring a significant investment of time and resources. The monuments scale with the faction's dominant affinity, granting Affinity Incarnate bonuses that provide additional elemental damage to cultural units and empower key city functions. At their final stage, monuments count as ancient wonders, contributing toward magical victory conditions. Monument construction is governed by a new strategic resource called Wonderstone. Wonderstone can only be acquired by architect factions, either by controlling magical material provinces or by using a unique scouting ability to survey such materials. This places pressure on architect players to prioritize exploration, territory expansion, and map control early in the game. As multiple monuments can be built across cities, architect empires benefit from scaling economic, military, and magical enhancements, provided they can maintain control over these high-value improvements. Architect factions also have access to a new set of specialized buildings and spells. The Magitextural Archive and Architect Institute serve as advanced versions of early research and production buildings, accelerating development. Affinity obelisks offer food and stability bonuses that scale with the number of Affinity Incarnate stacks, further reinforcing the value of monument development. Their spellcasting suite includes Incarnate Mark, which extends affinity bonuses to non-cultural units. Resilient Incarnation, a battlefield spell providing scalable defense buffs, and elemental summons based on affinity. Militarily, the Architect unit roster emphasizes resilience and synergistic effects. At Tier 1, the Earthbreaker functions as a frontline shock unit with charge and brace capabilities. The Cultivator is a support unit that links to nearby units, providing healing and affinity-related buffs. Tier 2 introduces the Shademaker, a ranged skirmisher dealing both physical and affinity-typed damage, and the Guardian, a hybrid defensive unit with polearms and aura-based debuffs. At Tier 3, the Architect Support Caster enhances army survivability and can summon a unique battlefield construct. Architect armies are generally slower to scale in raw power, but become significantly more potent when properly supported by monuments and city infrastructure. The expansion adds 2 new playable forms for use in faction creation: the Elysians and the Ancients. Elysians are designed around a celestial or divine visual identity, intended to represent radiant or angelic beings. They align thematically and mechanically with the prophecies of promise and destiny. Ancients, on the other hand, represent degraded or corrupted entities, typically resembling fallen divine beings or necromantic constructs. Their design complements the themes of decay and cataclysm tied to the vision of ruin. These forms are aesthetic in nature but also include default traits and flaws that can be adjusted in faction creation, contributing to the overall customization depth. Additional cosmetic and functional assets accompany these new forms, including divine markings, glowing eyes, celestial tattoos, and headgear. These additions are supported by the expansion of the Faction Builder toolset, which allows for the assignment of detailed behavioral and visual presets for AI-controlled empires. Players can now define not only a faction's appearance and affinity, but also its preferred tomes, magical strategies, hero types, and even city naming conventions. This system enhances long-term replayability by creating persistent AI rivals or allies that remain consistent across games and realms. A new class, Battle Saint, is introduced in the expansion and offers a new paradigm for hero development. The Battle Saint is structured around the use of fervor, a unique combat resource that accumulates through specific actions. Players can develop the class along 3 general lines: a clerical role that generates fervor passively and acts as a backline support, a saint path that emphasizes martyrdom and reactive support, and a paladin track that rewards melee combat and self-buffing. The Battle Saint can wield all melee weapon types and various orbs, offering greater flexibility compared to most classes. In terms of mobility and tactical variety, 2 new mount types are included: chariots and griffins. Chariots offer increased charge potential and battlefield mobility, while griffins introduce flight, providing movement advantages and the ability to bypass terrain. These mounts are available to leaders in select units and contribute to visual identity and battlefield effectiveness. Supporting the new content is the Griffin Update, a free patch released alongside the expansion. This update introduces visual clarity improvements, including new UI elements that indicate active buffs and Affinity Incarnate states. Units now retain visible grave markers after death, improving tactical planning and battlefield tracking. The update also supports multiple link systems, allowing units to benefit from several simultaneous support effects. This change increases the tactical ceiling in mid and late game combat and enables more complex army compositions. Realm generation has also been updated, allowing for greater asymmetry and customization. Players can now adjust AI faction strength, starting resources and behavior independently, resulting in more dynamic and unpredictable world development. This system supports narrative variation and emergent gameplay, particularly when combined with custom factions and prophecy-driven objectives. Archon Prophecy enhances Age of Wonders 4 by introducing systems that blend narrative progression with strategic depth. The addition of delayed reward vision traits creates new gameplay arcs that encourage intentional decision-making. The Architect culture introduces a new form of empire growth based on investment and infrastructure rather than immediate conquest. Expanded customization options for both players and AI further develop the game's sandbox and storytelling potential.